Beautiful day out here. Holy cow. Not much, man. Doing good. Living the dream. Living the dream. Just that run got me a little bit. Still breathing hard. Been trying to get used to it.
Did you detect maybe some of the rookies were having problems with the altitude coming in, and that's why you ran there at the end? Or?
No, we're trying to get them ready for phase 2 to be implemented in with the players next week, and that's kind of the routine that we'll typically do right there. But so it's just one of those things. We got to stay in great shape. They got to learn how to be a pro, and I think this is kind of the start of it.
Is this a one-off thing for you, where you join them, or do you typically join conditioning with them?
It depends what your definition of typically conditioning with them is, or joining them. But I definitely join them all the time. We're all in this stuff together, so I want to let them know I'm right there with them, even though it might not be as pretty.
Jury's verdict situation yesterday. Regardless of the outcome, how disappointed are you that it came to that?
I've had an opportunity to talk with Jerry, and we're going to move forward from this. We're going to learn from it as a team, and that's what it's all about. There's adversity, and it's how we respond from that adversity. So I think that's so important, and, things happen, and we just have to learn from it.
Did you bring that up at all with your rookies last night in terms of if there is an issue?
I think we typically have, the things that we'll say normally, just kind of the people that we want everybody to reach out to. And the key is, hey, we're in this together as a team. And as a team, we have to have all the right resources so everybody's comfortable with those. And we're just kind of looking at everything that happened and make sure we all learn from it and see how we can move forward.
Every time. In general, do you think you have the infrastructure in place to deal with those things?
Of course, without a doubt. I think, it's just one of those things. You got to believe in all the people that are in this building, and I sure do. And I'm very happy to be part of it.
Every time a schedule comes out, you're an offensive coordinator, you have a role with the team. But did you look at it for the first time and say, it's kind of my team now?
It's our team. It's all of us. It's all of us. I'm proud to be the head coach here, but it's all of us, and it's not just about one person. But it's just exciting to get the schedule. I mean, every year you get it. You're so excited, and you always go down there and try to circle those primetime games and to see all the ones that we have. I mean, it's so exciting. I mean, we'll open up at Seattle is a great opportunity for our team to test us early, and it was really cool just to see it and just know, hey, this is the first year in this role.
What are the first things you look at when you get the schedule? You're looking for the
Thursday game. I think you always go right into it, and you want to find out where that lies within the opponents, and just because that's kind of the biggest bear of all of them. You got a game on Sunday, you put the guys through so much, win or lose, and then you got to turn around and you got to play in 4 days. So just from the preparation for the coaches, for how we get ready for that, how we get the players ready for that, recover their bodies, and at the same time get their minds right for a new opponent. That's something you always want to find out where that lies within the season, how you're going to adjust to it.
Does it hurt that you have to go on the road right before Thursday this year?
Wherever they want to put the ball down, we got to go play. I mean, you look at it, and there's always some, questions about some things you're excited about, but in the end, it don't matter. You got to get out there and go.
What are generally the biggest things you're trying to get out of these 2 days, with these 36 players?
The thing that we kind of presented to the guys is about learning. I mean, these guys have been training for a combine. They've been living on the circuit. They've been so excited to get drafted. They've been celebrating, and not necessarily, well, some of them might, so I don't want to speak for everybody, but not necessarily ready for an NFL practice. So I think that for us, it's one, learning the system, learning the building, learning their teammates, learning their coaches, and then just kind of how to be a pro and how to get out here and practice every day. So I think it's just all those things and the techniques. I mean, we don't want to throw them in there and just start doing team right away. We want to be sure they understand all the techniques of each route and all those little details as they get to know those things, and we're going to keep pushing those, and hopefully they get a nice little head start to be implemented in with the guys next week.
One reason you're here is your ability to relate.
Thank you.
Pardon me. Maybe hold that.
Uh-oh.
Jared. How do you react? Is that different as a head coach? Does it have to be different as a head coach as opposed to an assistant?
I think in the end, we're all people, and we're all on a team together. And I think it's one of those things you got to be there for each other. And you have to just kind of find out all the information. You got to do it all the right way. And I think that's what we did here. And that's how I would have done it in any matter.
The CEO of this organization, football part of the organization, doesn't matter in terms of how you deal with.
I mean, of course it does. From the standpoint of my role, I mean, there's definitely looked at a little bit different. But from the standpoint of how we handle everything, there's a process that we do everything, and we want to do it the right way.
You made the line trip a couple times. What's the best time to go? Make sure you guys are ready to play that Sunday.
from this. There's so many different ways to do it. I've been lucky. I've gone to London, 4 times now. And we left on Thursday. You talk with guys all across the league, guys leaving on Monday, some on Tuesday. I mean, everybody's done it a little bit different, and everybody's won and lost doing it different ways. So I think for us, as we kind of evaluate how we do it, we want to do what's best for our team, and we want to see what those guys are into. I know Russell, he went out there a couple years ago, so kind of talking with him, giving him my experience, going through his experience, and just trying to figure out what's good for everybody. The idea is to get there and get acclimated as fast as you can, but at the same time still be able to put together a solid game plan for the Jaguars. So we'll, as we continue to work through it, we'll figure out what's the best way. I think he's going to be kind of excited. I mean, I think it's going to be it's a really interesting game to put right there on Monday night. But I'm glad we're doing it early. Because that was going to happen at some point in the season. So I mean, hey, let's attack it. Let's all get into it. Let's all rally around the Broncos, and let's get ready to go in there in a hostile environment and have a good game. None yet. We're kind of working through that stuff. So hopefully we'll find out more as the days go on. Yes.
And would he face any team discipline for this?
We'll, look into all that kind of stuff and make sure we do all the right stuff. We're here to support him and move on from this and get ready to get better on Monday.
Hey, Christopher Allen's a guy that obviously has a lot of talent, but dealt with some injuries at Alabama. What do you think of kind of his potential, and how long until he's kind of going to be fully able to get going?
Yeah, we're gonna play that by ear. We're gonna see how he comes along. He's a very talented athlete, a really good person, and for us, it's about getting him healthy and getting him right first, and then as we move forward, we'll be able to see where he fits. But he's got a lot of stuff that he has to offer this team, and we just got to get him out there so we can evaluate it.
How do you evaluate Nick Benito before the pads go on? Because I imagine that's kind of a big part of evaluating a pass rusher.
First and foremost, watching the tape last year, I think it was really cool when he came in for his visit. He kept talking about affecting the quarterback, and even if he wasn't sacking the quarterback, being around him. And I think it was, when somebody talks about that, then you go back and check it. It's amazing to see how much he was around him. So he has a very, great knack for getting to the passer, and just kind of whenever a quarterback feels that guy around him, always gives him the ibbities. So I'm excited to see that now with us, and we'll start teaching him some new techniques. And it's day by day. We know what he could do in college, but now he's going to go against some better players, and we'll have to just continually develop him.
You said Greg Dulcich brings something unique to the tight end room. What is that, and what does he bring to this group?
Have you seen his hair? I mean, wow. I mean, just watching him out here, flowing in the wind. No, it was great to see him out here and run routes. I mean, he can really run. I mean, and he's in great shape. You can see that. And even being over here with some of the blocking drills, you can see that he's definitely a willing blocker. So I think it's kind of that all-purpose guy. I think that's going to be something that's going to be very valuable to us.
A lot of intrigue around Montreal, Washington, and then you see him around rookies, a lot of these kids that play Power 5. How did he look first glance when you see him?
Yeah, it's first day. It's one of those things, he had some really good tape and some of those old stuff. I'm biased to those small school guys because I think in the end it's just that mentality and how you approach it every single day. And I'm excited to get to know him and see what he can do.
There's obviously a lot of focus on the guys that were drafted, but you guys brought in quite a few undrafted guys, and there's a history here of one guy usually makes the 53. What do you like about the undrafted guys that you guys brought in?
That's a great point. The undrafted guys. I mean, it's funny. I go back all throughout my career, and there's always guys that end up, even starting for you. I look at Alan Hearns and Alan Lazard, and you look at Lucas Patrick. There's so many different guys that come in and they make a difference for your football team. And there's a lot of guys on each team. So somebody, as they start developing and showing themselves up through training camp, they might have an opportunity to play. So right now I think it's a little bit early. We just had the first day, almost like a phase 2 day. But I think there's a lot of good potential out there. But potential is not anything until you get the pads on and you get to actually do some stuff. So we'll see where that goes within time. But hey, whoever the best guys are, that's who we want out on the field.
Aside from the learning, well, not the learning curve, but just learning how to become a professional, what is the biggest challenge that most of these guys face from the level that they play, immediately being able to hit the ground running as a pro?
That's a great question. I think all people across the board, they look at football as, hey, from going from high school to college to NFL, and obviously the level, the speed changes a little bit, but the mental that these guys have to face is something that I don't think anybody could ever understand until you're in the room and you have a coach get up in front of you, and now after all these years telling you one thing to do it to now you change everything from technique to the different coverages or front structures or from an offensive standpoint. I mean, heck, a lot of these guys have never been in a huddle before. So, I mean, I think there's so many different things. I mean, I've been with some quarterbacks that, the first day they go out in preseason was the first time they ever took a snap under center in a real live game, in a preseason game. So, I mean, there's so many things. And it doesn't even count all the stuff that surrounds them on the outside of these gates. I mean, there's so many different things to understand to be a pro, but I would say the system is just unbelievable. I mean, it's so much more advanced. We see so much more. In college, it's very basic, and some people are a little bit intricate, but for us, every single week, the picture changes. Every week you face a different defense, different skill players, different defensive players that are talented. So, I mean, there's just so much, and they've got a lot to learn.
I saw something where you mentioned you don't like to go out on Friday if you even have an East Coast trip because Friday's family night.
Yes.
Why is that important for the coach staff at the pro level to have that kind of time set aside?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky growing up with my father. My father was home every Friday night. That was our family night. And, that meant a lot to me as a kid. I got 4 kids. I got a wife. And to have that opportunity to be able to spend, some time with them and take my wife out on a date is so huge. And, it's a long season, 18 weeks now. Whew, I still don't get used to saying 18 weeks. But it's so long, and we spend so much time when we're away from our family during that time. So it's like, as, I am a head football coach, but I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. So I have to be true to that. And I want all the coaches to feel that way. So I think it's so important to have that family time.
Training camp, they've kind of gotten away from everyone, bunkering together.
Those were the good days. I remember when I was a kid and used to stay in those dorms with all those players.
Yeah.
Wow, we had a lot of fun.
Do the veterans still get to live at home, and how are you going to do that?
Yeah, we're still working that stuff out. I mean, I'm going back and forth on that, especially because, last year, the COVID stuff, a lot of people, at least for us in Green Bay, it was a little bit different. But I think it's about the team. I think it's about where the team is at. And I think there is some really good value to putting guys in, whether it be a hotel or a dorm together, any of those things, because it does create unity. And those guys get to hang out with each other and get to know each other, because that's what makes a great team. So I think we're just kind of in the process of figuring that out right now, but we'll see.